Today I want to talk about Jiu Jitsu while traveling. The great thing about Jiu Jitsu is that it's an international sport and you can meet like-minded individuals all over the world, especially in high populated areas. I just got back from a trip to Tokyo to visit my wife's family or our family, and while I'm there, there's a few gyms that I like to visit and train at. And I wanted to kind of discuss, I think, best practices and things to know when you're traveling for either vacation or work. And while you're gone, you're not able to go to your home gym, so you want to train. And how can I do that? So first off, when you're going somewhere to travel, before you go, it's always best look at the areas around and see if there's any jiu-jitsu areas that would be convenient for you to go train to. It doesn't always have to be convenient. Sometimes it's worth it to take a little road trip to go train at a gym that you're very interested in. Like for example, when I was in Boston, I looked at some of the gyms around, and one gym that really stood out to me was the Bernardo Faria, because I love half guard, and he was a little further out from where I was staying, but I definitely would have made that trip just because he's a person or a team that I would love to have a day to train with. So when you're doing your research into the gyms, the possible gym or gyms that you're interested in visiting while you're traveling, send them an email. It's very important to give them a heads up before you come. I think one of the main things when visiting is etiquette and politeness, and you always want to err on the side of being overly polite. So always send an email. You could even give them a call, but I think the best thing is first email them and let them know the dates that you're traveling and the dates that you potentially will come in for the class, just to give them a heads up and let them know, ask them about their visitor policies. Okay, and that's going to be great because they're going to expect you, because most people don't like unwanted guests or unexpected guests. Like if somebody, even sometimes your good friend just shows up to your house, you're like, oh, okay, like a phone call or text would have been nice, right? So always do that. And then there's a few things that I would suggest. One, always pay the drop-in fee. Okay, I believe that I'm a third-degree black belt, and whenever I go visit a gym, I always pay the drop-in fee. Now, there are times when the person that works there, they will either give me a discount or let me train for free. And that being said, whenever that happens, I always want to purchase some of the merchandise. You want to show appreciation because these people that own the gym, like this is their job, this is their livelihood. And sometimes I feel that people who come and visit gyms, they don't even offer to pay a drop-in fee. So why are my members that train every day, the ones that I dearly care about their progress, they're paying every day to train, yet somebody who just comes for one day, they get to train for free? I know some gyms do this, but that I feel like you're undervaluing your members as an instructor or a gym owner. So I think for good etiquette, always pay a drop-in fee, or at least offer. Say, I'm going to be there for 6 days. I might train 2 or 3 days. Do you do what is your drop-in policy? Is there you can even ask, is there a certain price for 3 days opposed to just 1 day? And sometimes they'll give you a little discount if you're going to pay for more than 1 day. So that's how I would go about it to start. And they might give you a discount or give you free training as a visitor, especially if you're like a black belt. They do like having higher experienced people to come in because they feel like they bring, a lot of times they feel like they bring value to help their students and to have a visiting black belt. But if that's the case, please purchase a t-shirt, a rash guard. It'll be a souvenir, and you're going to support a local business. And if they have a Google or Yelp, give them a review if you had a good time. And if you didn't have a good time, don't leave a review. I got that from Jiu Jitsu, by the way. But I 100% agree. Now, Another thing is like, are you going to be traveling with your gi or no gi? Okay, so I understand like when you're traveling, you want to travel light sometimes, and a gi is bulky, it's heavy, and it takes a lot of space, and then you got to do laundry. So you got to kind of take those things into consideration while contacting the gym. Ask them about their gi rental policy. A lot of gyms have rental gis. When I'm in Japan, every single gym that I've been to has a gi rental service, something that you pay for, but you can rent a uniform and use it for the class, and then give back to them, and then they wash it. So then you just have to bring your belt. So if that's the case, that's great, and then you don't have to worry about packing a heavy gi and doing laundry. But if they don't, then you might have to think about other options, which is one, purchase a uniform or just bring your uniform, and it's going to be bulky. And if that's the case, you got to think about your laundry situation. If I'm bringing a gi, do they have laundry at the hotel that I'm staying at? Is there a coin laundry space next door? And at all of these things, do I have time to do my laundry while I'm going to go do a vacation or travel for work and go training? And if that's the case, if I wear my gi and wash it, do I have time to wash it and dry it before the next class if I'm going to do multiple classes? So those are things to think about. Another thing is if that's the case, traveling lighter would be no-gi. So maybe there's a no-gi specific gym nearby where you could just bring your, no-gi attire. You can easily bring, 3 different no-gi shorts and rash guards that'll take up less space than your gi, right? So that's another option. Maybe the gym has no-gi classes. You could take a no-gi class, or there's a no-gi specific gym. So those are different ways, I think, when it comes to when you're traveling, to have your uniform situation all set. A gi or no gi, laundry, rental service, always contact the gym first, let them know you're coming in, pay the drop-in, buy some merchandise, leave a review. The other thing is when you're at the class, like I mentioned before, always be on. It's like when you're a kid, your mom says, when you go to someone's house, be on your best behavior. Right? When you're at your house, like sometimes the rules can be a little more relaxed. But when you're visiting someone, you should be on your best behavior, because you're not only like representing yourself, but you're also representing your team that you come from. And I think there's a huge etiquette aspect to martial arts and jiu-jitsu. And when you show up to a gym, it's really important. You can ask questions. Ask the professor, like, hey, it never hurts to ask. Should I bow before I come on the mat? Do I greet the instructors? Do I greet everybody? Do I call you professor, or do I call you coach? There's just so many different things, and many gyms will have their etiquette listed on the wall. So get to the gym early. Don't show up like right when the class starts, and then don't show up late, and then all of a sudden like they got to do a waiver, and you're like in a rush to jump on the mat. Get there, especially on the first day. Get there early. Get there 15 minutes early. Meet the instructor. Meet the front desk. Sign the waiver. Get ready. Get dressed, and then sit on the sidelines for 5 minutes before the class starts. Observe the room. You can learn a lot by just observing. Read the etiquette if it's on the wall. That'll answer a lot of your questions. And then if there is no etiquette on the wall, observe to how the other students are acting. For example, one of my favorite gyms, in fact, my favorite gym to go to when I go travel to Tokyo is Axis. Okay, they have a lot of traditional roots in their gym, just because they've been around. They've been, I think, in Tokyo since the early 90s. One of the first, if not the first, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu gym in Japan. And when they go, everybody pretty much bows when they enter the mat. And when they enter the mat, the students greet everyone. So like if people are sitting and stretching for class to start, and you bow on the mat, you go around and greet everybody with a handshake or a fist bump and say hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's just being polite. And then, so if I'm coming to a gym, I'm going to come in, I'm going to bow on the mat. If there is a black belt instructor on the mat, I'm going to go to them first. I'm going to say hello, greet them, bow to them, shake their hand. And then I'm going to go around and shake everybody's hand. Just say hello. You don't have to start a conversation, but just say hello. If you want, introduce yourself. And I think this just sets the tone, because, jiu-jitsu is, it can be intimidating, and there's a lot of ego. And if you just, the way you come on the mat is going to set the tone. And I remember back in the day when you see someone that you never seen before at the gym, and you watch them walk through the door, you watch them put their gi on. Oh, maybe they're a brown belt or purple belt, and you look at them and they have cauliflower ear, they have this look on their face, and you're kind of sizing them up, and you're who kind of guy is, I don't know who this is. Does he like to do knee bars, or right? So it's very, very human nature for us to size them up. And so when you come on the mat and people don't know you and they might have a certain expectation, when you go around and you greet everybody and show respect, you bow, you give everybody a high five, right away their egos become deflated, because they are like, okay, this guy, he's respectable. He shows respect. This doesn't mean that he's not going to be a hard train, but at least it feels less personal and my ego has calmed down a little bit. And then as the class goes, follow the instructions, do your best, and remember that you're a guest. Like, for example, when I'm there, I ask questions to the professor at times, but I don't ask like in the middle, in front of everybody, in front of the class, just because I don't want to be that guy. I will ask the professor every once in a while if there's a question when he's walking around, like, hey, I have a question about this or that, but I don't want to put the coach on the spot being a visitor, okay? And when it comes time to train, as depending on how the professor is structuring the class, like, I would not be going around and calling people out to train. Like, this is not your house, just chilling out. When it's time to roll, let the professor pick the partners. If they see you sitting around, they're most likely going to grab you and tell you to go with someone. That would be a good role for them, because they know their students, and then they can start observing your rolling. I would not, even if you're a higher belt, don't call anybody to roll unless the professor says, hey, they tell you, hey, grab whoever you want. Once they give you that green light, then go. You know what I mean? Like, just show respect. And when rolling, take it easy. Match the other person's energy level. I would not go super hard on the people when you're rolling. I would not try to make it into a competition class. It's just about learning, getting some rolls in while you're on vacation, getting some training, meeting new people. I think the greatest thing about traveling and doing jiu-jitsu is that connection that you meet, because no matter where we go, we take our gi, we take our belt, and we go to a dojo, and now we're in our community. We're in our safe space. You make friendships. You follow each other on Instagram. You see each other at competitions. Next time you visit that area, you know where you want to go because you've already met friends. You go. They might invite you to dinner afterwards, or they might invite you to a show. And remember, if you're visiting somewhere like totally foreign, like you're going to South America or you're going to Asia, and you go and you meet some people that are like-minded, like, they know the area. They're locals, so you can ask, hey, we're gonna go here tomorrow. Like, do you have any suggestions on places to eat or sites to see? I think that's a really, really fun part about visiting, is not just getting training in and learning jiu-jitsu, but for me the main thing is the networking and the community building and the friendships that you meet and from other cultures, and who knows, like, you might make a friend while you're out there. And so whenever I go to Tokyo especially, there's a few gyms I love to go to. Axis feels like my home gym. It's the closest to my family's house. The instructor, Master Taka Sensei, I feel like is a genius. He's been doing jiu-jitsu for a very long time. He teaches very well. He's an amazing instructor. I love the way he runs his classes. I love the way he runs his gym. It's a great balance between charisma and respectfulness and discipline. And then the other gym that I've been to, quite a few of the Carpe Diems, but the one that I like a lot is the Jiu Gaoka, which Professor Thomas runs. He's been with the organization Carpe Diem for a long time, so he knows the ins and outs of their organization. He's a really good competitor, competed a lot. He's a great business owner, and him and his team, they just feel very, very. I feel very, very at home in that gym. It's a little more relaxed than the Axis, not as stringent, but at the same time, very, very competitive and very friendly. So I hope this helps when you're going to go travel and go do some jiu-jitsu. If you have any comments, questions. You can put in the comment area. Let us know like your experiences while traveling jiu-jitsu, or if you have any suggestions about when you travel and doing jiu-jitsu that maybe I didn't talk about and discuss in this Ask a Black Belt episode. So thank you.